Zhuangzi's Fables and Their Wisdom. Module 5 on Relativism. Lesson 2. Understanding the Rules. Fable 1. Hui Shi's Giant Gourd.
Master, I have a question. What does it mean by useful?
Do you think that being useful or not can fall into clear-cut categories? Let me tell you the story of Hui Shi's giant gourd. In this story, my best friend Hui Shi, who was the Prime Minister of the state of Liang, also felt confused about whether his giant gourd was useful or not.
Zhuangzi, I have great news. The king of Wei sent me some calabash seeds. They must be very useful because I have seen their fruits. The fruits are like a giant gourd, so they can be used to hold water. I want to plant them and take good care of them.
Oh, really? I wish you good luck.
Zhuangzi, I have bad news. I've spent so much time and effort to grow the calabash seeds. They bore fruit as big as a 5-bushel measure, but they just turn out to be total waste. The calabash fruits are too light and not solid enough to hold water. If I cut them in two for ladles, each of them is too shallow to hold anything. They are so useless that I just want to knock them to pieces.
Hui Shi, let me tell you, it is your problem and you don't know how to use such large things. The calabash fruit is not the one to blame. You have found that they are big and light, so you can make nets and then put the calabash fruit inside the nets. Then, tie them around your waist to make a little raft. Everything can be useful in some way. Why should they be fixed to be containers? They can be very well fit to other uses. This is the wisdom of using the useless.
It is said that the way we see the world shapes the way we treat it. I want to explain a term, stereotype. In social psychology, a stereotype is an overgeneralized belief about a particular category of things or people. Just like Hui Shi, who took a stereotype of how to use the giant gourd. If it does not fit in such stereotype, it turns out to be useless in Hui Shi's mind. However, Hui Shi was unaware that being useful and useless are relative, which can be transformed into each other. So if we have a different perspective, we will think differently and find a different way to solve the same problem, which makes life easier. In another word, when one way doesn't work, don't lose your heart. Try another. You might find something that is groundbreaking. This is the end of this fable. Fable 2. The Big and Useless Chew Tree.
Master, I always feel that I'm under great peer pressure. It's a pity that I'm not born more handsome or wealthier.
I understand your pressure. I've also heard other people complaining about not being born with great talent or good looks, not having high rank or great sum of fortune. This time, I want to tell you another story about my friend Huishe and his chu tree. Huishe thought his chu tree was useless because it was too irregular to make furniture, but I tried to tell him how to make it useful in some other way.
I have a big tree. You can call it the chu tree or ailanthus.
It's a pity that I was not born to be good and useful tree. My trunk is very irregular and knotty. My branches are so twisted that the square and the compass cannot be used to even measure them. I stand by the roadside where it's very easy to be seen, but every carpenter will just have a look and turn his nose at me. I feel hurt and sad. But it might also be good news for me. Because I am ugly, I am not chopped down. I can survive.
In a word, my chu tree has become a big and useless tree. Zhuangzi, even though you are my friend, I think some of your ideas are also similar to the chu tree. They are big and useless. Who will really listen to you?
Everything has its limit. Have you ever seen a fox or a wildcat?
I'm the fox.
I'm the wildcat.
In order to catch our prey, we are very quick to jump and run. Good news is that we catch our prey.
Bad news is that, even though we are smart, we will still easily fall into hunter's trap and die.
But the yak is quite different. It is so big that it is just like a cloud hanging in the sky. It is full of strength.
I'm the yak. I'm powerful, but I'm really too slow to catch a mouse, even if I really want to. But it is also quite difficult for me to fall into hunter's trap. So, I'm safe and sound.
How are they related to my big and useless tree? It's still useless.
Now you have a large tree and are anxious about its uselessness. Why don't you just rest under it and use it for shelter? Why don't you plant on the barren land? Since it's useless to carpenter's eyes, no one will come and chop it down. So it will be safe and sound there to grow into a towering tree and provide more shelter.
Yes, I am a big tree. Come and sit under me. It's cool.
To do as others do is a common mentality which is termed as conformity behavior or mentality in social psychology. People tend to apply the same criteria to judge whether a thing is useful or not, and whether a person is successful or not. However, one size fits all does no good to creativity and diversity. Steve Jobs urged, think different. The chu tree does not fit the carpenter's criteria, but it might fit the gardener's criteria. Furthermore, the criteria of success are not as simple as how much money you can make. Instead, it's a lifelong journey of seeking self-value, to be the one who can make this world a better place. Fable 3. The Craftsman's Perfect Skill with His Perfect Partner.
Master, I really can't stand my best friend anymore. As my best friend, he should always support me. But he's actually very picky with me, and he always points out my misbehavior.
Having a bosom friend is one of the happiest things in life. My best friend Hui Shi is also very picky with me. We have disagreements now and then, but he can be inspiring too. Today, I want to tell you the story about how craftsman Shi could perform his skill in a perfect way with his best partner, the Ying Man. But craftsman Shi could not perform the same deed to the King of Song. Once there was a man in the city of Ying in the state of Chu, and we called him the Ying Man. When he was repairing a house, a bit of lime suddenly dripped on the end of his nose. He immediately asked his best friend craftsman Shi to help.
Hey, Shi, come and help me with this terrible bit of lime. It is as thin as a fly's wing. You can just chop it off.
No problem. Just 1 minute. Don't move. I will use my axe.
Without any hesitation, the craftsman swirled his axe around and swept it down, creating such a wind as it rushed past that it removed all trace of the mud from the Ying Man. And the Ying Man stood firm, without any fright, and his nose wasn't hurt at all.
It's okay now. Not a big deal.
Thanks a lot. My nose feels much better now.
King Wan of Song heard about this and felt very curious. He called craftsman Shi to visit him.
I will put a little lime on my nose. Would you chop it off for me too? And you'll have to promise that you won't hurt my nose for the slightest bit.
I was indeed once able to work like that, but my partner has passed away. Sorry, I can't replicate that without my partner.
This fable indeed tells us the true friendship between craftsman Shi and his best friend, the Ying Man. A true friend is someone whom you trust with your whole heart and who is not afraid to tell you your downfalls in hopes you can learn from these negativities to become a better person. The reason craftsman Shi could not perform the same deed to King Yuan of Song was because he knew the trust needed to stay perfectly still and not get hit by the axe didn't exist with the king, because the king was not his true friend. True friends are those who come into your life, see the most negative part of you, and honestly tell you this was not right. Just like Zhuangzi and Hui Shi, true friends might walk in opposite directions, yet remain side by side at heart. They are the ones that really understand you. In Chinese history, there's another pair of very famous friends, Yu Boya and Zhuangzi. The legendary story of Yu Boya and Zhuangzi is a household story spread in the ancient state of Chu. Boya was a guqian player, but people seldom understood his tunes at the time. Zhiqi was the only one who could truly appreciate Boya's music, including the most famous pieces of music named Gao Shan, High Mountains, and Liu Shui, Flowing Water. Later, Zhuangzi passed away because of illness. Boya was so sad that he played a tune in memory of Zhuangzi and then broke his guqian into pieces. He never played music after that. Do you think you have such a friend whom you can truly understand? We hope so. That's the end of this fable. Thank you for watching.